Hi everyone, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are having a great day, like always. In today's video, I'm going to be covering BlackBerry, GameStop, AMC, Nokia, all for March 17th trading day. Now this video is more, it's not the same as usual. This one's more like an update from yesterday's video and then ideally from the last two videos. So I'm going to be looking at the graph, analyzing it, giving you guys technically a little bit of adjustments of the lows and highs, but not in-depth detail, just because I don't have as much time to do that, unfortunately. But I just don't want to leave you guys in the dark. So definitely watch yesterday's video if you're new to the channel, if you can, the last two. Now, I'm going to cover just one quick thing overall. There's going to be a little bit of choppiness in the markets again today, like I mentioned yesterday, just because the Federal Reserve will be meeting today at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So just keep that in mind. Stock, like in terms of the stocks, they could be heading lower and then they could end up heading higher after that 2 p.m. meeting. The only thing is though, I've seen in the past where some stocks get left behind, unfortunately, so don't expect a massive turn to the upside for your stock, potentially for like all stocks in general. So keep that in mind. Now, quick disclaimer, like always, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional, and everything I do share with you guys is just my opinion. It is not advice. So please do not buy or sell based off information I give you or the opinions I do form. I do own shares in BlackBerry, been holding for 6 years. And then for the stocks that you want to watch, they'll be in the description down below like always. Just click on the timestamp and you can go to your stock directly. Now, so essentially what I'm going to be doing is going to be literally a crash course as of an update for yesterday's video. So yesterday had an upward trend support line. The only problem is it kept on heading down and it broke through the support levels or support level, and now we're relying on the last one. So to break the last one, we need to go lower than basically essentially $11. It's more specifically, I guess when I measured it, it was like $11.07, but accounting for like small false breakouts and all that stuff, I would say it's fair to say that breaking 11 would pretty much ultimately break this. Now we bounced off it. Hopefully we continue on the upside. The only problem is we do have, if you noticed here, a downward trend resistance line that technically could be not that one. It starts off right about here, basically. I'm just going to do an amateur line drawing right here, but essentially we might get knocked down as we're going up if you like line it up correctly and all that stuff, like by the time we get to here. So I'm doing a pretty bad job drawing it, but we're sorry about that. I keep saying but too much. We're below both moving averages, short and long, MAC lines in the negative, but there is a good chance that we could have bounced off it, because the problem is if we don't bounce off this fully and continue to the upside, and we, by the way, we might come back down too. Another thing is too, like let's say we go up and come back down, we could bounce off and go to the upside, and if that happens, then don't be worried if we come back to like 11.20s and all that stuff. I think relatively speaking, $11.20 is still safe. The thing is, again, just don't want to break that by the time we get to it and all that stuff. I would say if we break $11, it's a bad sign, especially $10.92. I would say $11, you pretty much know it's a bad sign. But $10.92, if you wanted it to be like, what if it's a false breakout, completely like a deep false breakout, and then we bounce up to the upside, then I would say fair enough, $10.92 is fine. But the problem is, I think we end up heading low to literally, there's a chance 1088, but I could see 1079, 1078, and hopefully we don't go lower than that, 1072, 1074 at the almost lowest. If we go lower, then we ultimately, if you've seen my past videos, there's an upward trend support line dating back since October 2020, right about here. Could start trickling down lower to that level, but before we get to this level, I believe by the way, here's a false breakout that if you've seen my past videos I talked about, I think probably past fourth video or something for BlackBerry specific, but to get to this level, I believe we have support levels before we get to this level. Like for example, 1035 is another support level, and so on and so forth. So that's the thing. So if you're wondering what will it take for us to get back up to the upside fully, I would, to be honest, I would believe that literally we would have to be above $12.20, ideally $12.38, $12.35. But if it's done really rapidly, we could just be brought back down just as fast. That's the only downfall. I'm not going to cover everything in details. Definitely watch yesterday's video or the last two videos, so that way you can get all the details in terms of the upside and down, like low side. Just because I'm trying to keep the video quick and I don't have that much time, I apologize. Now for GameStop's really interesting as well. The only thing is, okay, so you guys had a double upward trend support line right here. I've talked about the upward trend support line right here since September 2020 and December 2020. These are the ones you could fall back on if everything goes horrible. But overall, I think you guys might be okay. MACD lines in the positive for the 1 month chart. Below both moving averages, long and short, but I think you guys might be okay. You had a false breakout here for this this upward trend support line dating back since February 2020, or February 2020. And false breakout, bounce back up to the upside. Hopefully it continues to the upside. Now, to make sure in terms of yesterday's video, if you're watching yesterday's video, I stated that $232 or $235 will be in the clear. That got adjusted now as of today in terms of adjustments for today. So you have to hit 253. I know it got like larger than yesterday, but it's because as you continue these support lines, the support level amounts get increased. That's the only downfall. Maybe you technically have an upward trend support line forming right here because there seems to be 3 touch points right now. So from the bottom, I did an amateur draw because technically I'm not getting it correctly, but technically you have 3 touch points right here if I adjusted it correctly anyway. 1, 2, 3. So you could be having an upward trend support line formed. I'm just going to leave it. Doesn't matter. And so hopefully that's the case. You technically could have a downward trend resistance line formed right here that might knock you down, but I only see 2 touch points right here. So you might be knocked down not only just by the moving averages, but technically by a downward trend resistance line that's technically here. And there's one right here too. So if you see this right here going down, even though it's not really drawn that great, that could technically take you guys down right about here. So the 220 to mid, somewhere between 220 and 230 is definitely going to be a huge task for you guys. Again, definitely watch yesterday's video to know the lower levels and all that stuff. Hopefully you guys continue the upside, but it's going to be, like I stated, a little bit of turbulence just because the nature of the market for the Federal Reserve meeting by 2 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of stocks could be technically having issues going to the upside for today. Now, if we go to AMC is looking okay. Like, the only problem is you guys are having a little bit of issues. Like I've showed before, upward trend support line, that's still intact, so you guys are good. You guys are creating a lot of support levels overall, so you could be doing pretty well. MACD lines trying to cross over to the positive, so that is good. You're above both short and long moving average at the moment. You have an upward trend / support line kind of thing, but the problem is you had a false breakout, but you're above it still, so hopefully you guys continue upside. I would be more optimistic if you guys broke 1450. I know that's a huge jump from now. The only thing is though, definitely watch yesterday's video if you want to know all the levels mainly. Most of them are still intact as long as they're horizontal levels. If they're diagonal levels, I would add or minus about 10-20 cents. But overall, I think you guys should be okay. The only thing is though, you guys are going to be affected just like the other stocks for the Federal Reserve meeting today in terms of 2 p.m., especially for this stock because it correlates with interest rates. And I would say for the movie theaters, you guys would need to borrow money potentially. I know you guys raised capital, so that is good. Raising capital doesn't really pertain to interest rates mainly, sometimes, not all the time, right? So if interest rates increase, that could hinder you guys a little bit more than other stocks potentially. And I'm not expecting interest rates to increase. This meeting is more for the overall market to confirm that the Federal Reserve is not increasing interest rates. So that's the only thing. It's more like confirming that they're not going to. So once that confirmation comes in, then most stocks should be going up after that meeting. Then, but yeah, overall you guys should be good. Hopefully, I remember I measured. Where was it? I apologize. I can't remember where I measured. But if you guys do go down, definitely watch yesterday's videos so you can know the levels that if you were to go down, where would you be going down to. The only thing is the one thing that got adjusted was that lowest level that I mentioned yesterday, being 1095, 1092, 1090 as the almost worst, hopefully. Now it got adjusted to pretty much at the $11 price point. So I would say 1098 at the utmost lowest to 1114. Mainly I would say almost $11 clean. I would not even consider 1098 being play unless you want to account for false breakouts. Now if you go for Nokia, you guys, so it depends. Okay, so you had an upward trend support line, double upward trend support lines And that was supposed to keep you guys up. The only problem is you guys broke through them, had a false breakout, hopefully bounced back up to the upside. You're below the short moving average, but you're above the long moving average. The MACD line's in the negative. It's a sharp drop. And then the problem is, this is the issue. I'm going to do a pretty bad job drawing it, but you have like a downward trend resistance line right here that I think you guys might have issues breaking. That's the only problem. Now, overall in the stock, you guys could be doing good. I read an article that you guys partnered up with Microsoft, Amazon, Google in terms of 5G, and then cloud services and all that stuff. And then in terms of Orange as well, and in terms of this does suck for in terms of workers, but in terms of stocks, it is a positive, which is, yeah, it does kind of suck, but 10,000 employees are going to be let go in terms of 5G work kind of stuff. But in terms of the stock, because they said that they're letting them go for efficiency kind of stuff, right? So in terms of stock, it correlates to positive because now they get to earn more money because their margins will be higher kind of stuff. So that's good for the stock, but it sucks for the workers. So that's the thing. So in terms of stock, you have those partnerships, so that's good. You have those layoffs, so that's good. Hopefully we'll see what happens. Hopefully the lowest, because you guys might be going lower today. The thing is, though, for you guys, you do have support at 413 because you broke these upward trend support lines. Hopefully bounce back up. If you do, I would say a good sign to be like that you for sure came back to life. Because I want you guys to pass this low short moving average. So if you got up to 433 again, I would say that's a relatively good sign. Past 433, by the way, just because you might get knocked down. It like almost any, like first level I would say is 423, but even then I think it would be a false breakout, unfortunately. I don't know. It depends. There's a lot of levels to it, but I guess if you just want to pass this downward trend resistance line, I would say 423 would be a good bet. And then above that, you would start trickling up, hopefully not get knocked down by resistance levels and short moving average. And then the upward trend support line that could act as resistance as well. But hopefully you guys do well. Almost lowest for the day, I would say, would be somewhere between $4.03 to $4. I don't think you guys are going to break lower than that today. But hopefully you guys continue to upside. And that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a great day. And if you do like the video, by the way, consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel. If you do like videos in terms of these videos, in terms of stocks, other stock videos, passive income, mortgages, credit score, financial freedom, consider subscribing. It does help out the channel. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.